Do you ever wonder what separates great leaders from the rest? So imagine having a clear vision that rallies your team, the emotional intelligence it takes to have those tough conversations, and the adaptability to turn disruption into opportunity. In this episode, I will share 5 traits the top leaders swear by and show you how to apply each one in your teams today. Are you ready? Hey everyone, John here. 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 Welcome to the Leaders Leading Leaders podcast. Hey everyone, John here. Welcome to today's episode. I have over 2 decades of experience helping people build teams so they can step away. And working with those leaders, I have boiled it down to 5 traits the top leaders feel are the most important traits that you need to have to build a business. That way it operates without you. So let's get into the content today. The first trait we're going to talk about is emotional intelligence. And this is the EQ to the IQ. So IQ is our reasoning, our ability to reason, our ability to think and rationalize, whether it's a decision, a topic, whatever that may be in our business. EQ is that emotional intelligence. This is the piece where we connect with our team, we connect with our employees, we build that culture. And the thing that I wrote down here this morning as I was journaling, we read and then we respond to our team members' emotions. And what this helps us do as a leader is 1, it builds trust. And when we have trust as that foundation to our relationship, now we can have those difficult conversations and we reduce turnover. If people are engaged, they feel trusted. If people feel like they are a part of the overall organization, they don't want to leave. And if they do leave, guess what? They normally come back because the grass is not greener on the other side. So what are some ways that you as a leader can build your emotional intelligence? 1, this active listening drill. And this is something that I challenged myself very early on in my leadership. And I challenge leaders all the time when they tell me, I have one-on-one conversations. I meet with my team. Okay, check. The second part of that is, how much talking are you doing? Because if you're talking, you're not listening. That's why this is a listening drill. This is a active listening drill. So like right now, what you're doing, you don't have the ability to talk to me. You are listening. So put yourself in a conversation as if you were listening to this podcast. And what you're going to do is ask questions, come up with 2 to 3 conversational questions to get it going. And then you're going to sit back and listen. I want you to count how many words you use during a 15-minute conversation. And I want you to work on decreasing those words throughout the week, throughout the month. That is your challenge for implementing emotional intelligence. The better questions that you're going to ask, because they're going to be fewer words, the more listening that you're going to be able to do. And those questions are going to be programmed in to where now it is more of a natural flow. It may feel a little robotic at first, but I promise you it will get better. So count the words that you use in a 15-minute conversation, and I want you to work on reducing those words. That's going to help you listen more, and your emotional intelligence is going to go up. You're going to find out more about your employees. You're going to find out more about your employees in a week than you probably have known in 6 months if you haven't been practicing active listening. The other thing that I like leaders to do is this empathy map. And yeah, this seems a little touchy and feely, but stay with me here because emotional intelligence isn't the top trait, isn't my first one that I started out with for no reason. This empathy map, anytime you have a team challenge, I want you to list what people say, what they think, and how they are feeling. So when it comes time, there's a challenge. Maybe it's production. We got to increase production, or we need more sales coming in, or you need to produce an ops, right? Whatever that looks like. I want you to map how your team is responding to that challenge. What are they saying? Through your empathy, active listening conversations, how are they feeling? And then what behaviors are they exhibiting? That is going to paint that picture of emotional intelligence for you. It is going to be a lifesaver, I promise you, when it comes to emotional intelligence. So those two applications to increase your emotional intelligence, game breakers. The second one, clear vision. I talk about this all the time. It is one, if not the most important thing as a leader you can do, is have a clear vision, not just a vision. I want it to be clear. So this needs to be a compelling vision that aligns with the daily tasks. And that's the part that needs to be congruent. Alignment is important. The vision itself needs to be clear. The second part, though, how is that aligning to the day-to-day work, the mission of the organization? Mission needs to align with vision. So from here, what you need to do is really be able to illustrate your 3-year plan. And what this is going to accomplish, it's going to lower the confusion and it's going to drive up the engagement. If people know where you are going and they understand how they fit into that path, you will be unstoppable as a leader. And you have to make it clear. You have to continuously communicate that. I always tell people when it comes down to the communication part, it takes at least minimum 7 times for you to say something before it starts sinking in to people. It's the Goofy story. I went to Disney one time and we parked in the Goofy parking lot. When you park in the Goofy parking lot, you got signage all around you that tells you you are in the Goofy parking lot. And for those that don't know who Goofy is, he's a character. He's a Disney character, okay? Look him up. You can Google him up there. Very famous. So Goofy parking lot, signs going in. Signs on each telephone or each power pole reminding you Goofy parking lot 6 or Goofy parking lot 7. Painted on the pavement behind your car when you pull in says Goofy parking lot and your parking number. When you get in the shuttle that drives you to the front, they welcome you. The shuttle driver says, "Hey John, welcome to the Goofy parking lot. You're in zone 6. Then you get in the bus, you ride to the front. They pull you out. As you're leaving the bus, remember everybody, you're parked in the Goofy parking lot." Disney doesn't do anything that doesn't make sense. Why do they tell you 7 times? Because that is going to click. So even though you may get tired of explaining your vision, keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it until you have one of those moments where somebody raises their hand and says, "John, I understand the vision. This is where we're going." Now it's all going to click. That is where you want to get to, is where they are repeating that vision back to you. Now you know you're on the right track. So the application is that be able to illustrate your 3-year plan. I would even break it down to like a 1-year plan because people sometimes 3 years seems like an eternity. So 1 to 3 year plan, illustrate it. Be able to tell the story of your vision and how everybody is going to work together and it's aligned with the daily tasks to get there. And then make sure that your daily tasks are aligned through quarterly meetings. I like to call them program management reviews, touch points, whatever you want, timeouts, alignment meetings, whatever flavor you want to put on those. But I do them quarterly, every 90 days. I like to work in 90-day sprints. I think it's timely enough. It gives enough time to implement things, see if they're working, not too much time to where you're pulling back and adjusting. So 90-day sprints. In here, I want people to explain the work that they're doing, what we're measuring, the metrics, key performance indicators, and how are they meeting the mission. Again, this is taking tactical to strategy. Very important. It assures that alignment's there. It ensures that everybody is on board and can communicate that. And now we're down the road and we're looking at the next 90 days. So clear vision, number 2 trait. Third trait, adaptability. Rapid business changes require leaders to be adaptable and agile. If we exhibit those behaviors as leaders, people are going to model those behaviors within our team. So again, if we're agile, it keeps us competitive. And if we're competitive, we're making money. And the bottom line is, it starts with us. It starts with us, the leader. We have to exhibit this adaptability. I want to take a quick break from the episode today to talk about a couple things. The first thing, less than 40% of our listeners are subscribed to our channel. You would be doing me a huge favor if you click on that subscribe button. It helps us grow our Go Be Great community and get this podcast out to as many people as we possibly can. The second thing, are you a small business owner that is drowning in the day-to-day operations? You're delegating tasks and you're still doing all the work. You're experiencing a high turnover. Maybe you don't have the systems and processes in place that you need to run a successful business. I invite you to go over to thejohnespinosa.com, fill out the form to see if you're the right fit. Now back to the episode. A couple ways that I like to do this. What if drills? Run a 15 to 20 minute session and ask yourselves, the team, you including, what if we lost our best client? What if sales took a 10% cut? What if maybe we gained 5 clients, right? You're going to have to gear up production, whatever. You may have to surge a little bit there. So these what if drills are going to keep people thinking ahead, contingency plans, risk mitigation, all of those things. It keeps them proactive and not reactive to when the situation happens. So these what if drills, bingo. I mean, they're gold, and you chart them down, write them down. And then when the situation occurs, it's like, yeah, we've been here before. We talked about this. It's not such a big impact to the organization, and it allows the team to adapt and overcome. And then cross-train here. Rotate team members to different roles. I like to do this. I switch it up biannually, so I'm getting ready to switch it up to where I have primary responsibilities shifting around. I got secondary, so you always have a backup. I always have a primary and I always have a secondary, depending on your team. My team's big enough to where I can do it. It enables people to cross-train, and it enables people to also understand what's going on. So I will even take sub-teams and pair them together and just attend meetings or go sit with John for a week, study what he's doing. You don't have to do it. I want you to understand, though, how what he does implements and impacts what you do and vice versa. Big picture, give them that big picture. Some people, they just want to come to work. They want to put on their blinders, do what they got to do. But the more that you take them out of that comfort zone and allow them to see that big picture, this is where the trait really comes to life of adaptability. Because now what happens is, oh, you know what? I'm going to be behind. Something is going to miss in my area. I better go let John know, because now I understand inputs to outputs, outputs to inputs, and vice versa, how the whole entire system and process works. Really, really good exercises when it comes to creating adaptability within your team, but it starts with you. And then number 4, accountability. So when leaders hold themselves and others accountable, now follow through increases. Promises turn into commitments. Things begin to change in an organization. When you get people that are accountable not only to what they say, but how they do it, and when they do it, this is where you really start to realize the power and are able to start stepping back to where you can focus on strategy, or better yet, take a break, step away from the team, go on vacation, go to your daughter's events or your son's events, whatever that looks like. Spend some time with your significant other. We work for time freedom, not the other way around. I find myself working hard whenever I'm on. So my peak times of the day, I'm really engaged. But I also notice that I need time to recharge my battery. And sometimes those times come in spurts. Every couple hours, I get up, I stretch, I go for a walk, whatever that looks like. But sometimes we need a lengthy away time, a lengthy step away time from our businesses. So we're bringing back that energy, we're bringing back that vision, and it allows us to think minus the day-to-day operation. So accountability. What can we do here to build accountability in ourselves and with our teams? Public Commitment Board. It's a tracking tool. So list your top 3 goals for that quarter and who's assigned to it. You can even put milestone dates in there, but Most of all, it's this task needs to get done and this person is assigned or this team is assigned to get it done. And now everybody sees what was promised. Everybody sees who's on that task. Very, very cool thing to do, especially when you get to recognition. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, because now what you're doing is you're reinforcing the behavior by recognizing somebody stepping up into that position. And what you also learn is there might be somebody that you've assigned to that. They're a go-getter and they're going to exceed. They're going to hit the ball out of the park, and you never would have even realized that if you wouldn't have given them that opportunity to show accountability and commitment. And then stoplight updates. So this is another one that you can keep track of. Anything yellow or red require an action plan. This gets ahead. This is, again, moving towards proactive, keeping them from being reactive. And it really, really allows the business to function. The accountability. If something's red, it doesn't mean that the person that's in charge of that project made it happen. It could be lack of resources. It could be production. It could be, a number of things that could have gone wrong in that project's behind, but it gives you an opportunity as a leader to identify it and then have that individual come up with a plan to bring things back into scope or bring things back on the timeline, that timeline of completion, and work together. So it allows you to trust. It lets them know, John, he trusts me. He has my back, and we're moving down the road. Accountability, super trait. Last but not least, the fifth trait we're going to talk about today is empowerment. So empowerment, man, this one right here, if people would just go slow to go far instead of go fast to get things checked off your list, you will realize that empowerment is that slow building thunderstorm. Here in Oklahoma, we're in thunderstorm season, and it's one of those thunderstorms that continue to build and build, and you see that cloud stack rise and rise and rise, and pretty soon what happens? Boom! It starts raining, there's thunder, there's lightning. Why? It's building up energy, and it's just letting it all go. That is what you are going to realize as you work on this traits. Teams will innovate, they will problem solve, they'll rally together during crisis. Empowerment allows you, again, as a leader, to step away and let the team continue to self-motivate, to operate individually from a team standpoint, from a system standpoint, and you can step back and allow that momentum to continue. So ways that we can do this as leaders. Decision days. Take one day a month, pick somebody, and have them work through a decision. Give them a decision to make, and then have them work through that decision. I always like 3 possibilities, 1 recommendation. Have them bring that recommendation to you, and then defend it, and have them work through the logic that got them to that 1 recommendation. This will empower people to really take initiative and to think through the process. Again, big picture wise. So it's not just what they're doing at their cubicle or at their desk or in their particular department. This gets them outside so they start realizing the impact, and it lets you a little bit of insight into how they think, which is empowerment piece for you. Because again, when you step away, you're going to have to delegate, and there's no better way than to understand who you're delegating to, strengths and weaknesses, than empowering them to make a decision. And then peer-to-peer recognition, or, you as the boss, as the leader, recognizing people. Make sure, again, that this recognition is specific. Don't just, hey, good job, John. Yeah, well, what did he do? Good job. What performance? Was it a performance? Was it something that he said? Was it the alignment of his behaviors? Did he meet a certain deadline prior to, under budget? What was that? Put it out there for everybody to see. Public recognition. Now, I'll say this and then I'll go back on myself a little bit. Public recognition helps get everybody energized, allows people to say, you know what? John sees me. He understands the work that I do, and they understand the fact that that work is tying back into the vision. Now, I'll go back. Not everybody likes to be publicly recognized. So just know your team. That's where it goes back to understanding how people like to be rewarded. Sometimes it's a thank you note. Sometimes it's a thank you email or thank you text. Sometimes they like to see their name up there on the leaderboard. Figure out how they like to be recognized and then do that. That's going to play a big part into the empowerment trait. So let's talk about 5. Emotional intelligence. Remember, this is the EQ part of it, how people feel. Number 2, clear vision. Make sure that you have a clear vision, not just a vision, but make sure it's clear and you can tell the story and illustrate it. Number 3, adaptability. This is going to allow you to be more agile and keep your competitive advantage. Accountability, big part. Yourself and others, hold them accountable. Do what you say and say what you do. And then last but not least, empowerment. Remember, as that thunderstorm builds, there's going to get to a point where it just unleashes all of that energy. And that's when you're going to see your business, your team skyrocket. I hope these 5 traits helped you. I challenge you to take one of these and implement it tomorrow. And I promise that you will be able to see a difference within yourself and within your team. I believe in you. Go be great. Talk to everyone later. Bye-bye. If you like what you're hearing, do us a favor. Click on that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up or leave a comment. That lets us know that what we are putting out benefits you. If you want additional information or resources or learn how to work with me, head on over to thejohnespinosa.com, because when we become better versions of ourselves, it helps us get others to where they're going. Go be great. Talk to everyone later.